Hello everyone, I'm Alex and I serve as part of the CDSC team with Nikki and Stuart. I'm here to share my testimony with you here today. So I was born in London to two atheist parents. Growing up I was very anti-religion. My mum was on the board of an organisation called Atheism UK, believe it or not, whose main goal is the normalisation of atheism, and I quote, challenging the irrational beliefs of religious faith. In secondary school, I really lacked confidence and any meaningful sense of who I was, which led to me struggling to fit in. And when I was 14, my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And despite being very tough at the time, looking back, this forced me to start thinking a lot more seriously about the meaning of life and death and my place in the universe. At a similar age, I started drinking and going out to parties where I met my best friend Joey and later on, his devout Catholic mother. Over the next decade, I was drip-fed exposure to the faith and my heart gradually softened, and I'm convinced that their prayers played a key part in my conversion. When I was 16, I started experimenting with psychedelic drugs, and I had several life-changing experiences which presented me with the undeniable reality that there was more to life than just the material world, and that there was some organizing spiritual principle, and that was love. Despite being blessed with many friends and life-changing experiences, the dark side of drinking and drug abuse caught up with me very quickly. For the next decade, I struggled with very serious alcohol and drug addictions, bringing me near to the point of death on multiple occasions. Fast forward to November 2022, and I was on a weekend away to Barcelona with two friends, filled with the usual craziness of drinking all day. On the Sunday, we decided to take a guided audio tour of La Sagrada Familia, the famous basilica designed by the now venerable Gaudi. I was absolutely wrecked from the weekend, both physically and emotionally. The beauty and intentionality of the design cut to the core. Right at the end of the tour, I was looking at the side of the building depicting the Passion of Jesus, and in particular at a statue of Judas kissing Jesus, when the thought popped into my head, it's all true. For the next 3 days, as this thought made its way from my mind to my heart, I was constantly breaking out into tears of joy and relief. I remember sobbing the whole flight back with a massive grin on my face, like the disciples I had seen and believed. When I got back to the UK, I spoke to my best friend, who was overjoyed and said simply, "Well, you best start coming to Mass then." And so I did. Alongside starting consecration to Jesus through Mary and attending an Alpha course, I was then baptized and received into the church on Pentecost 2023. In the 3 years since my rebirth, the Lord has changed so much in my life. I now stand before you addiction-free, my identity firmly rooted in Christ, as a child of an infinitely loving God, operating at a level of freedom I could only dream of previously. I completed my degree in neuroscience and now work as a youth minister at Worth School, and I'm seriously considering the call to religious life, possibly as a Benedictine monk. I was introduced to the renewal 2 years ago during the previous Diocesan Life in the Spirit seminar, where I attended the Pentecost Vigil Mass at Arundel Cathedral, a day where the Lord moved with undeniable power, and I'd strongly suggest attending this year if you are able. I eventually joined the CDSC team, taking over the role of assistant coordinator, with a powerful conviction that living a life in the Spirit is fundamental to living out the fullness of our baptism, and a burning desire to see others come to know the Lord as an intimate friend. Looking ahead, I am absolutely convinced that the Lord wants to radically transform each and every one of our spiritual lives, leading us into a dynamic and rich relationship with Him, the fullness of life that Jesus promised to every believer. There is so much grace being poured out on the world right now. My appeal to both myself and to you is simple. Lord, have your way.